Hello and welcome back to the kitchen, the scene of the digital busking return to the kitchen sessions that we had through the third lockdown, and yet another song explanation ahead of the release of the CD. Now, a massive part of what happened on that second season was me rediscovering and digging a bit deeper into the layers of songs that hadn't either ever been played before, whether it's Little Angels, myself, or whatever, and rediscovering them for my own benefit, if you like. Certainly from a point of view of the Little Angel stuff, that was fantastic. I mean, both of the digital busking sessions and both of the CDs that we've released, were opportunities, great opportunity for me to sort of re-look at those songs and the structures of them and what they meant at the time. And it's amazing how I could pick up those songs. I found it staggering. I could pick up an old tune that I hadn't thought about in some cases for 20 years, probably longer, and put myself right back in the spot of when I wrote it and when we ended up recording it. So that's been brilliant. But of course I also did it with my solo stuff, and one of the songs that kind of got asked for quite a bit, and I'm glad that we're including it on this new CD, is Unfortunate Man. Now, Unfortunate Man's it's an interesting song because it was one of the first songs that I wrote straight after the split of the band of Little Angels. It was amongst a glut of songs, Losing Side, I think you've heard, and a number of others that were songs that I think was my first flush of trying to figure out what to do next. And Unfortunate Man came within that, and it kind of came out of, I remember watching a program on TV at the time about death row in America, and how there was a disproportionate amount of black inmates in American jails, and how a disproportionate amount of those black inmates ended up on death row, and how also there was a kind of a revelation that a lot of these poor people that had ended up being, in my opinion, murdered by the state were found to be innocent. Quite a staggeringly sort of frightening percentage had been, sort of thing, And so that kind of got me thinking about the injustices of that situation, and how glad I was that we didn't have, the death penalty over here anymore. And I know it's a very difficult conversation for a lot of people to have, but I don't believe in the death penalty. I'll make that absolutely clear. I don't think it's a just punishment at all for any crime. I think people need to be, we need to discuss it in a different way. And I think, there's an interesting thing. I think Aristotle said that the way that society treats its prisoners is the way that it defines itself. And I think that's very true. I remember Elvis Costello saying in Let Him Dangle, which is a song on one of his solo albums, there's a line in that song that's about a similar thing, that says, if killing someone's such a terrible crime, why does this bloodthirsty chorus come round from time to time? And he's talking about the death penalty. So, that's my personal position on it. But I wrote this song about that, and it's a fictitious depiction of a character. It could be anywhere in the world, but I guess I'm putting it in America, because I talk about cinder blocks rather than concrete blocks. And it's about that discussion. It's about how a lot of the time poverty and deprivation for one reason or another through poor areas of the world or poor areas of the country or whatever, often give rise to terrible situations where people are pushed into corners and probably commit crimes because they have no other choice. Now, I know that's a broad stroke, and I don't want to make that sound trite, because I don't mean it like that. But I do think, the evidence bears out the fact that some people are imprisoned for stuff that they ultimately didn't commit. And so this got me really riled up, and I thought, well, I'll write a song about it. So that kind of essence of the sea shanty, that's what I wanted it to be, because I've been hugely influenced by Jacques Brel, the artist, poet and songwriter and vocalist. And a lot of his stuff was kind of like folk orientated, or came from the sea and that sort of thing, Port of Amsterdam and things like that. And so I wanted to write something like that, and so this was my sort of version of it, really. So that swing feel, acoustic open swing feel, coupled with this almost poetic, it's a poem really, set to music. That's the way I looked at it. I think it was very successful, and I've always really appreciated the song. It's just very strange that I haven't actually had a proper recording of it. So I was really pleased I had an opportunity to record it in this fashion. It's a song that I do think I probably will revisit at some point, maybe for this next solo record I'm making at the moment. So, but yeah, I'm glad that you guys have championed it, and I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to revisit it, and I hope you enjoy it on the disc. Thanks.